When it comes to finance, some banks are now saying it's easier for non-residents to obtain property financing in Dubai. The banks have introduced a low document policy and competitive interest rates. The image profile is actually what you do see more often than not when it comes to foreign investors here. Because, I mean, we hear rumours about this, Neil, of foreign investors that are coming in, they're paying cash for the big villas and it's pushing the price of the market up.
Which is true, and then see, it's a very lucrative market, Dubai, right? And then not just Dubai, I would say, in fact, the whole of UAE is a very lucrative market. When people from other countries, when you buy properties, and if there is any gain that you make or any profits that you make from the property, even that is taxed. The capital gain tax comes through. You actually losing out on a portion or on a sizable portion of your profits as well. And you would rather invest in a country where, yes, you know that the market is ripe, you know that there'll be great investments and greater returns, and then you're not being taxed on those returns. So why not put your money where you know that your pockets will be fuller?
Well, joining us on Conversation is Amit Nainani from Lion Mortgage to discuss this further. Amit, good to speak to you again. Thanks for your time.
Hi, Kitch. Thank you. Thank you for having me on board. Thank you.
When it comes down to non-residents to obtain property financing in Dubai, what are the documents that they need to require for non-resident financing?
See, I'll tell you, generally they require the client's passport copy. They need last 6 months bank statement in his home country, his utility bill to prove he's based in that particular country, and an income document. The client could have a business in his home country, or he could draw a salary from his employer. So that income document is required to derive his eligibility.
So what is the minimum lineup for eligibility? Is there a minimum salary bracket, or is it something that one has to have in assets that the banks would be looking at?
I'll tell you, there are roughly 3 to 4 banks who have currently lending to non-resident clients. Each bank has a different parameter on which they derive eligibility.
Okay.
So what we tell clients generally is to share the documents, and then we check which bank does he qualify for.
I see.
Because one client could qualify in Bank A, one would qualify in Bank B, because the income or the balances he's maintaining in his home country account.
For many non-residents, what do you see is the percentage of non-residents that are buying properties here in cash and those that are seeking to have finance from the UAE?
You could say the people who buy on cash would be at least 30%. Because there are a lot of non-residents who are parking their funds. So there are 30% who are taking on cash, 20% would be the people who are taking loans from the non-resident portfolio.
I see. So now, is it become like a practice for non-residents to actually come in and look for properties, and thus a way into the country via golden visa?
It gives them an entry point. No? Getting a property, getting a golden visa makes their life easier, wherein they think of either setting up a company and starting business, or rooting their whole business from UAE, because they understand that it's too easy to operate any kind of business in UAE. The banking system is supportive. That's why.
Well, when it comes down to some of those international banks, I mean the ones like Citi or HSBC, are they willing to extend their coverage to non-resident investors who, while they do have offices here, then those investors are looking to buy property here?
HSBC looks at, in that particular segment, HSBC is slightly open because they have presence in many countries. So if a client in HSBC has a bank account outside UAE, they give them a preference.
How does it help when people come to you, Amit, and Lion Mortgage, when someone is a non-resident client comes to you versus going to various banks themselves? What is the classic differentiation?
I'll give you a basic example. A non-resident client is initially based out of the country.
Right.
So initially we have a Zoom call with him, understand what's his requirement, understand his income, get the papers. Till the time he's not entered the country on a visit visa, we get him a pre-approval.
Okay.
So that helps him in knowing where does he stand financially, and then he gets in touch with real estate brokers and looks at options. So by the time he plans his trip, he has a paper in hand, which helps him to negotiate and get a deal better for him.
And entertain us, Amit, for anyone who's looking to spend 25 million or plus, what percentage are buying in cash?
Can you raise the question again?
Yeah, for anyone who's looking to spend over 20 million dirhams on a property, what percentage of those high net worth individuals buying those properties in cash?
50%.
Wow.
At least 50%.
Wow. This is
And you know what?
Actually-
Amit's probably giving us a conservative answer. Yeah,
It's good to be conservative, right?
Yes, it is. No, I guess you answered where we were going. That really does play up to, I guess, a lot of the sentiment that you see in discussion when it comes down to property. But for anyone who is a current property buyer in Dubai or the UAE, and they're skewing towards maybe new residents and those in the upper mid-income range, is it easier to tap into local mortgage support than mortgage support from outside the country?
Local is easier because the banks here understand the land department policies or how on a mortgage can be placed. A bank which is based outside UAE will not be aware of the land department policies. Plus, they can't place a lien on your property, because legally they are not a bank here. They are not a lender here.
Right. So if someone is looking to buy a property and they do want to reach out to you, Amit, what are the documents that you ask them to provide? What are the things that they need to keep ready before they even start looking at various portals to start chatting up with real estate brokers?
Just last 6 months of their personal account statement and a utility bill to prove they are actually based in that particular country. That's it. These two documents are critical to derive the eligibility and tell it to them.
But then quite a few people who are probably looking to invest in properties would have also invested in other instruments, right? So it's not necessary that their banks will have those kind of numbers. If they're earning X, almost 50% of that X is disbursed in various other instruments.
I agree. There could be people who have either invested in stocks or other products. I fully agree. There are people who keep fixed deposits for a longer tenor. But then we have to understand when the bank is lending, they look at the easy cash that is available for you to repay back.
Okay.
And whatever is invested in any investment or a stock is very volatile.
Right.
Today it could show a value of 100. Tomorrow it can become 10 or 5 as well.
Fair.
So that's why the bank doesn't want to lend on that figure, which is very volatile.
So the bank primarily looks at what you're earning and of which how much you're saving in your account, is it?
Correct. Because any given point of time, your income can stop if you're a non-resident.
Right.
The bank sitting here can't control it.
Makes sense.
But at least they see a balance. They know anything goes wrong with your income, you could still sustain a monthly installment because most of the time that property would be rented as well. Because you're a non-resident, you will not every time stay in that house.
I think that what Amit is trying to say, it's a good time to be in the business of mortgages.
Definitely.
Amit Nainani.
Every time I meet both of you, you have the same thing that you want to move into my job.
Well, it's because you're always so happy. You've got good suits. You're a pinnacle of success, Amit.
Oh, the best suits in business, I can tell you that.
Yeah, I also envy you because I also want to sit on that side of the radio. Every time I meet you,
the grass
that's why I envy you a lot.
The grass is always greener on the other side of the lawn.
We're full, Amit. It's very hard to get into the business. Very, very. Amit Nainani from Lion Mortgage, we appreciate your time. Thanks again for your insights.
Thank you.
Always a pleasure. If you want to get in contact with him, Lion Mortgage is the place to go. Amit Nainani, and he knows everything when it comes to mortgages.
Oh, he definitely knows. And I can tell you one thing, if you go and meet with him, he can sort you out with your plans of buying a property even before you have started looking at the kind of properties that you're looking